The mighty King Saul, who had strictly banned all witchcraft and driven out every medium and spiritist from the land of Israel, shockingly turned to it himself on the very night before his death. This is the dramatic story of Saul's final and gravest mistake, a desperate act fueled by overwhelming fear and the eerie, unbroken silence from God. A vast and formidable Philistine army assembled, countless warriors poised menacingly on the horizon, ready to launch a devastating strike against Israel. King Saul, once a fearless and mighty warrior in his prime, now shook with uncontrollable terror, his heart gripped by profound dread as he confronted this seemingly invincible and overwhelming enemy force. Desperate for direction, Saul inquired of the Lord repeatedly, but received no answer through dreams, no word from prophets, and no guidance from the Urim and Thummim. God's silence was absolute and impenetrable, leaving Saul utterly isolated, devoid of hope, and abandoned in his time of greatest need. In a stunning and profound twist of irony, the same king who had scoured the land to eliminate every medium and spiritist now sought one out in his hour of need. Overcome by desperation, Saul brazenly violated his own royal decree, compelled to pursue the very forbidden practices he had once outlawed. Beneath the shroud of darkness on a moonless night, Saul carefully disguised himself, exchanging his regal robes for simple peasant clothes to conceal his identity. Joined by two trusted companions, he ventured forth on a treacherous path through rugged wilderness to the remote village of Endor, drawn irresistibly to consult the witch who lived there. Having located the woman of Endor, Saul implored her earnestly to bring forth a spirit from the realm of the dead. The witch, keenly aware of King Saul's harsh edicts against her craft and terrified of punishment, balked at first, her voice trembling as she feared for her very life. Saul vowed to her with a sacred oath in the name of the Lord that no harm or penalty would befall her because of this deed. Reassured by his solemn promise, the reluctant witch began the illicit ritual, as Saul specifically demanded that she summon the departed prophet Samuel. As the mysterious ritual unfolded with chants and shadowy preparations, the witch suddenly shrieked in abject terror, recognizing the disguised King Saul through spiritual sight. From the ground arose a spectral figure, an aged man cloaked in a flowing mantle. It was none other than the prophet Samuel himself. Visibly angered by this disturbance from his rest, Samuel pronounced a terrifying prophecy upon Saul. He foretold the imminent defeat by the Philistines, the death of Saul's sons on the battlefield, and the kingdom's transfer to David, all as divine retribution for Saul's persistent disobedience and rebellion against God's clear commands. Devastated by the weight of this ominous prophecy from the afterlife, Saul's strength completely failed him, and he fell prostrate to the earth in a swoon. The witch, moved by his pitiful condition, hastily prepared a modest meal of bread and urged him to eat in order to recover some measure of physical vigor. After some persuasion, Saul accepted and consumed the food offered by the witch, then slowly rose to depart with his men into the enveloping night. Heavy with the burden of foretold doom, they returned, and tragically, the prophecy unfolded exactly as Samuel had declared the very next day. The Philistines surged forward in a brutal assault, and Saul's sons perished amid the chaos of battle. Gravely wounded and encircled by enemies with no avenue of retreat, Saul ended his own life by impaling himself on his sword, thus sealing the fulfillment of Samuel's dire prophecy. In this manner, the reign of King Saul drew to its sorrowful close, a haunting tale marked by desperation, defiance of God's will, and the steep cost of resorting to forbidden knowledge through the Witch of Endor. The account of Saul serves as a stark and enduring warning about the dire consequences of forsaking divine guidance, particularly when fear and crisis tempt one toward illicit paths. For more untold stories and gripping dramatic narratives drawn from the Bible, be sure to follow us and join the adventure through these timeless accounts.